There's the phantom braking. Okay, a little bit of phantom braking there. You know, I mean, look at that. What are we doing? And I think at this point, if this is what hardware 3 is going to get on these newer versions, they'd be much better off to put it back to 12.3.6. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Back today with another Tesla full self-driving video. And as you can probably tell, we're in the hardware 3 car. I wanted to do a video comparing hardware 3 to hardware 4 on the Yorktown Beach test route. And this was kind of perfect timing because I ceramic coated the hardware 4 car yesterday and it needs some time to cure, so it's sitting in the garage right now. But this video is kind of geared towards those of you who might be in a hardware 3 car looking to trade in and get a hardware 4 car. Or maybe you're new to Tesla and you're trying to decide whether or not, you want to buy a new one or a used one, and you're trying to figure out, is the old autopilot hardware good enough for FSD? So we'll kind of talk about that as we go. I'll tell you how this car stacks up to the hardware 4 car, which we just put a video up on this exact test route, I think day before yesterday. Hey everyone, it's me. Just wanted to stop real quick and say that I actually filmed this video about 2 weeks before I'm uploading it. And at the time of filming it, hardware 3 and hardware 4 were on the same software version, 12.5.4.2. But since then, hardware 4 cars have actually gotten 12.5.6.3. But I thought this was still a good video to put out because this is still the current version for hardware 3 cars, and it gives a really good glimpse into how they're currently performing. And so hopefully we can get a real good comparison. Now I will say I've tried to film the video twice already, and both times were fails. One time was the car doing a bunch of stupid stuff, which I will put clips in this video of so that nobody thinks I'm trying to hide the bad stuff that it does. There ended up being no reason to add those clips here because the car does enough stuff throughout this video that you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But then the second time was my GoPro acting stupid again and overheating. But it was partially my fault. I had changed up some settings on it and was trying to record on too high of quality. So anyway, so far everything's feeling about the same. No noticeable differences yet. I'm gonna hold off telling you what I think about it from the first 2 attempts when I tried to record this, but like I said, everything's feeling about the same so far. It always wants to go too slow on this road. There's no exception here on the hardware 3 car. And before we even go any further into that, just in case anybody watching this isn't familiar with what hardware 3 is or hardware 4 is, both of them are versions of Tesla's autopilot system in the car, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. So it's comprised of a self-driving computer which is up in the dashboard of the car, and then the cameras that are all the way around the car that give it 360-degree vision. So the main difference between hardware 3 and hardware 4 is the newer version, obviously, and it's got higher resolution cameras and a more powerful self-driving computer. I think the cameras on hardware 3 on this car are like 1.2 megapixel. And you can see they still look great as far as, like if I pull them up on the display and you want to look through the repeater cameras on the sides of the rear view, they look great. And then hardware 4 has 5 megapixel cameras, or somewhere in that neighborhood anyway. So it's about a 5 times improvement in the hardware 4 car as far as resolution goes. And while these do look great, it's definitely noticeable in the other car when you pull up the cameras. They are much clearer. Now, as far as what that does to improve the ability to self-drive, I don't think anybody really knows yet. We're supposed to find that out when version 13 comes out, which is going to be the first version fully trained on hardware 4 data, as far as I know anyway. And so we should get a better idea of what hardware 4 is capable of when that comes out. So far during this drive though, everything's still feeling about the same between the 2 cars. Going a little bit too slow, but once again, that's nothing new. And just so everybody knows, the version that we're on right now is 12.5.4.2, and that's the same version that my hardware 4 car is on. So we should be getting a pretty equal comparison, or a pretty fair comparison. And that was another reason I wanted to go ahead and get this video out of the way, because I am expecting the other car to get version 12.5.6. Whatever the heck they're going to send out in the coming days. So I wanted to go ahead and get this video while the 2 of them were on the same version. Now, I did drive through here earlier today in this car on FSD, and I got some really bad phantom braking on this road, so I'm looking to see if that happens again. And I'm also looking to see what kind of speed we carry through here, Right now, we are going a perfect speed. I'm really happy with this, but I anticipate it's going to slow. There's the phantom braking. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and intervene and make a speed back up. So there's intervention number one. I mean, what can I say? It's twice in a day now that it's done that. I'm probably gonna keep my foot hovering over the accelerator pedal just in case it does it again, because there's some people behind us, but I will make sure that I let everybody know if I do intervene again. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, phantom braking is definitely back. I've been saying it in my other videos, and it's not just in this car. The Hardware 4 car has had it too. It's mainly been at night. Like, if you watch my previous video when I did this route in that car, I tried to film it at night, and of course GoPro issues again, but I did put some clips in there. It was like 4 or 5 instances of it. So there's without a doubt phantom braking again. It had pretty much been eliminated in the version 12.3 builds that had gone out. I don't think I ever had a single phantom brake, but it's back now, and I think I've seen it in both cars. So it's pretty irrefutable at this point. As far as speed carrying through here, everything's feeling pretty decent. One of the things I was looking to see improvement on was, I noticed in version 12.5.4 when it first came out that the Hardware 3 car had a lot of fluctuation in the speed that it was going. So going down a straight road like this where we should maintain one constant speed, it felt like it was consistently going up and down by about half a mile an hour. It was not enough for anybody outside the car or anybody watching the video to notice it, unless you were watching whatever the heck this little bar is called that shows you how much pedal's being used. Okay, doing a good job of getting into this middle lane here. Yesterday during one of my video attempts, which I'll throw some clips of it in now so you can see that, but one of the attempts yesterday, it ended up getting into this left turn lane and then it couldn't get back over. So it had to make the left-hand turn, and then it just did a bunch of stupid things. So anyway, did a good job getting back over into the center lane, progressing through the intersection now. Feeling pretty good. Now we got a bunch of slow people in front of us. So we're not really going to get a good idea of what speed it's going to choose to go through here at. But what I found in both my other attempts through here is that it drove a fine speed right here, and then when the speed limit went up to 55 here in a second, it just went way too slow. It never sped up. It stayed about 10 miles an hour under the speed limit, and it might even do it now. Like, we can see the people in front of us are getting further and further away, and we're just maintaining the same speed. So out of all the videos I've done on version 12.5, the biggest issue I'm encountering, well, there's like 3 main things, I guess, at least come to mind right now. Speed control, I think, is the biggest one. Lane selection is horrible. And then a little bit of jerkiness at low speed, which is not a huge deal. But for people who are newer to FSD or who are nervous using it, it would be good if they could get rid of that jerkiness. Version 12.3 was way smoother, in my opinion. Although I do still prefer version 12.5 over 0.3. So it looks like the light up here just turned green again. So we're going to slow down a bit for the people that were already stopped, but then we should continue on. That was a nice smooth slowdown there. I do think, well, I don't even think it at this point. I've ridden in this one enough now to know for a fact that deceleration is definitely better on Hardware 3. So if there was anything that I've noticed so far that I could point out that, like I said, is definitely better, it's deceleration. The Hardware 4 car late brakes, it brakes really harsh on version 12.5. Hardware 4 cars actually no longer have that harsh and late braking issue. It seems to be resolved on version 12.5.6.3. This one doesn't seem to have that issue at all. It slows down very nicely and just feels very natural. Now going through that turn, it was a little bit slow, and you might have noticed a little bit of uncertainty in the wheel, and we probably noticed the same thing here. That wasn't too bad. Now, in the car, that felt a little bit harsh because it just took the turn wider than I think a human would have. And I know it's like, it's trying to avoid cutting through other lanes, but I would have just taken that turn at like a tighter angle and it would have just felt more natural. I think most people drive like that, where this kind of made like an exaggerated wide turn. So we should be coming up here in just a bit to a stop sign where we will be making a right. Now we're going slow through here. Once again, we're under the speed limit. That's pretty much the main thing I've noticed with speed control on this build. It just likes to go really slow. A little bit of phantom braking there. Once again, I don't know how noticeable that was to the camera, but it definitely threw me forward for a second. That's just a really annoying issue to have back. Like, I didn't miss that at all. That was probably one of my biggest complaints about FSD when I first got it. Like on version 11, if you were going around any kind of a curve on a road like this and somebody was coming in the opposite direction, guaranteed phantom braking. And I really didn't miss that at all, but it seems to be back now. Nowhere near as bad. Like, it's only done it twice during this drive. Version 11 would have probably hit the brakes enough to wear out a whole set of brake pads, but it's just, you know, I'm not happy to see it back. So we're clear to the left. We should be able to go ahead and go. Nicely done. Now I'm going to point out, while there's nobody behind us, I've got my foot away from the pedal because I really want the phantom brakes to play out. I want to see what it's going to do. Is it just going to stop in the middle of the road and not move? But it only seems to do it when there's people behind me, and I don't think it's because of the people behind me. I think it's just because I want to get a video seeing what it does. So of course, every time it does it, somebody has to magically appear behind me. So far, carrying good speed through here. Speed limit's 40. We're doing just over that. It feels really nice. We'll see if it slows down for these curves. I think if it does, it probably won't speed back up. All right, so we're down to 39. Okay, it did speed back up. That actually felt pretty good. I can still feel that little bit of fluctuation in the pedal, though. It just feels like, the best way I could explain it is like if you were in the car with somebody who's driving and they have like kind of a shaky foot on the accelerator pedal, you might notice like slight differences in speed while they're driving. That's what it feels like. And so I'd be interested to know if anybody else on Hardware 3 has noticed that. It's been very noticeable to me. So we're going right at the speed limit through here. So far, I wouldn't say there's anything majorly different than Hardware 4, other than I have not, on this route, I have not had the Hardware 4 car phantom brake during the day, and it doesn't have any of that pedal fluctuation feeling. So right now, Hardware 4 has got the edge. Now, is it enough that if I was, you know, I mean, look at that. What are we doing? Now I'm getting an alert for something. The car is slowed down to 29 miles an hour. I mean, that's 3 phantom brakes now, and that one even came along with an alarm. So, if those aren't regressions, then I don't know what is. And I think at this point, if this is what Hardware 3 is going to get on these newer versions, they'd be much better off to put it back to 12.3.6 and just solve the lane indecision issue that 12.3.6 had. Because this is not a, to me, it's not a safe build. Phantom braking it's one thing when there's nobody behind you, but if there are people behind you, that can get you rear-ended, especially on a build that already wants to drive too slow. So, I mean, it's kind of a dangerous combination. You got it wanting to drive too slow, so you get impatient people behind you, and then it just indiscriminately phantom brakes when there's nothing in front of you. So, to me, they either need to, like, revert to the old model, or they really need to get this stuff fixed. So it's going to be interesting to see how that progresses. Now, when I bought my new car, I did transfer FSD from this one to that, but then I subscribed on this car for this reason. I want to do these comparison videos. All right, let's point out here, we're merging over into the center lane. We did this in the Hardware 4 car too. Both of them need to stay in this right lane, but here we are in the center lane. Now we're lucky this time. There's nobody behind us, so it has a clear path to get back over. But in one of the videos yesterday, it got over into the center lane, and then somebody got over to the right of us, and we were kind of riding next to them. And at the last second, it had to hit the brakes really hard and then get over and then be able to make its turn. So that wasn't good. And if there had been more people other than just the person that was next to us, then, you know, we would have missed our turn, which would really have thrown the whole route off. So here we go, we're making our right. That didn't feel bad, maybe a tad bit slow. Be interested to see what speed it decides to go through here. The other car goes about 35, which is 10 over the speed limit. I don't have an issue with that. I think the speed limit should be 35 anyway. But, you know, if somebody wanted to argue that FSD is speeding a lot, then I wouldn't argue with them there. But if I was driving, I'd be going the same speed. Everybody goes 35 through here. So I could feel a second ago an urge for it to brake again. And it didn't, but I bet you it will. I bet you before we get off this road, it'll do it again. It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't phantom brake going into this turn up here. And I can already see, I mean, there it goes. It's phantom braking now. Now, it didn't slow down a lot, but it's hitting the brakes for no reason. Uncomfortably. So let's see what it does going into this turn. We got some people over there to the right. It seems to be paying them zero mind, which is fine, because it didn't need to. Get ready to adjust my pins. Okay, we're slowing down a lot and really don't need to. So right now we're going a good speed, 30. We got some people over to the left in this driveway. I was wondering if it was going to hit the brakes because of the man standing at the end of the driveway, but it doesn't seem to have minded him very much. And we're just going a real good speed. People in front of us going about the same speed. I'm not feeling that pedal fluctuation right now. A little bit of an exaggerated slowdown for them. Now, it wasn't super harsh or anything. Like the Hardware 4 car would have just waited until the last second and then slammed the brakes and then kept on going. Honestly, if FSD had just slowed down a couple of miles an hour when they put their signal on, then it could have really never even needed to hit the brakes there. Like I said, it was just a little bit exaggerated. So coming up here, we're going to be making a right onto Lakeside Drive. We'll see how it does here. We should get up to about 50 miles an hour. And it looks like to our left, we've got one car coming. Now, it's not forward enough to see them yet. Now, it did go forward enough to see them and it chose to go. I don't disagree with that decision. In fact, they're getting ready to turn onto the road that we were just on, but we still had plenty of room one way or another, so I don't have a real issue with that. Now, we got up to about 47. I'd be fine with that, but it's not going to hold it. It's going to drop down as we progress through here. So it seems like Hardware 3 has the same speed degradation issues as Hardware 4 has. And I'll tell you my opinion as of this point. If you were looking at a Hardware 3 car and a Hardware 4 car and you didn't have budget constraints, phantom braking again, perfect timing for my comment I'm about to make. If budget wasn't a huge deal to you and you just wanted to get into a Tesla, then and you wanted FSD, I would absolutely urge you. All right, we're getting another forward collision warning alarm, and there's clearly nothing in front of us. Like, unless I'm missing something all of these times, there's nothing in front of us, and I'm gonna go ahead and put my foot over the accelerator pedal because we got somebody pretty close behind us, and if it decides to slam on the brakes again, I want to be prepared for it. But anyway, like I was saying, if you were looking at a Hardware 3 and a Hardware 4 car next to each other right now, and budget wasn't a huge deal to you, hands down, go with the Hardware 4 car. It's better right now, and it's only going to get better moving forward. And right now, the future of Hardware 3 is a little bit uncertain. I know there's a lot of talk about, well, if Hardware 3 ends up not being able to achieve unsupervised FSD, that people are using the term retrofit the car. I don't think that's what Elon said. He said that we would upgrade them. All right, so we're slowing down for that guy right there. We really didn't need to, and now we're just going really slow anyway. Like, we should be carrying more speed up to the stop sign. And up here at this intersection, we should be turning left. But, what are we braking for? I mean, I don't know how obvious that is on the camera, but we're like brake checking the person behind us. Like, if I was them, I'd be mad. So here we go with our left turn. I really hope they go another direction. Yeah, they're going to the right, thank God. Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, it just keeps proving my point. Go with the hardware 4 car. Even if budget is kind of an issue for you, like right now, the um, Model 3 rear-wheel drive long range with the tax credit is like a $35,000 car. That is a really good deal. It's another $1,000 with a referral code. Use mine. It's down in the description. $1,000 off any new model, including Cybertruck. Or another $1,000 off with a referral code. If you're military, I think you can get another $1,000 off. I mean, you'd be down to about $33,000 for the car, and you'd probably walk off the lot for $35,000. Go with that. If FSD is a big deal to you. Now, if you're just looking at Teslas because you want a Tesla and you're not really all that, you don't really want FSD that bad, then the Hardware 3 car is a great car. Like, this is still an awesome car, but I'm gonna tell you right now, like, this has not been a good drive. This has not been a good drive. I don't trust it at all. It feels like the car is on edge. I know I'm on edge. Normally in these videos, I won't have my foot hovering above the pedal, but I really don't want to take it away from the pedal right now because I'm afraid it's going to throw me through the windshield. So anyway, we're on Allens Mill Road now, kind of a tight 30-mile-an-hour road. We're doing right at the speed limit. If there was going to be phantom braking during this drive, I would have thought it would have happened through this road. But so far, it seems to be doing better through here than it has on the other roads. So I don't really know exactly what to think about that. Alright, we'll see how it does around this curve. Usually we slow down way too much. Like, we could carry this speed through this curve easily, but here we are. We're slowed down to like 19 miles an hour. So we're going 11 under the speed limit through this curve. And I understand that on camera, it might look like it's a really tight road and that was appropriate. It always looks like we're going faster on camera than we really are. But I'm telling you, we did not need to slow down that much. And then we're kind of lingering under the speed limit right now, which isn't a huge deal to me. Like, if there we go with phantom braking again. And I didn't intervene there. Like, my foot is over the pedal, but I didn't intervene. But just another case of phantom braking. Not a horrible one, but probably way more uncomfortable in the car than it looked on video, but it's there. Going really slow through here. And at this point, I've lost count of how many times it's phantom braked. I might, if I, it might take me 2 hours to do it based on how many there've been, but if when I edit the video, if I can easily identify all of them, which I think I've said something about all of them, I'll put a count up on the screen so everybody can see. Alright, so here we are. We're turning right. If we go, we've got plenty of room right now, but if the car decides to linger around... Alright, so it did go. That was a good move. There is a bunch of traffic coming up behind us, but we did a good job accelerating. Keep my foot over the pedal just in case. I have a feeling it might jab the brakes coming through this curve. Both cars have felt like they could do it through here. And I keep looking around to see if maybe there's something that I'm not noticing that's causing it. Like, there it goes. Not a bad one, but definitely a phantom brake. So coming up to this intersection, we got a red light, but we will be going straight. I'll be looking to see what speed it decides to go. The other car goes about 41 on this next road, even though the speed limit's 50. I'm not expecting anything different unless the people behind us impact the speed that we're going, but that has not been the case yet. So we took off from the light nicely. We're getting right up to about 45, which is, yeah, it's fine. It's not a huge deal. People behind us are going a whole lot slower. But one way or another, I do think FSD should at least go the speed limit. So here's kind of my opinion on that. If there's 3 speed profiles, there's going to be, I might get the names of them wrong because they recently like slightly changed, but there's chill, there is like average, and then right now there's assertive. I think the new one, it's called Hurry. But anyway, one way or another, there's 3 speed profiles, a low one, a normal one, and a high one. In my opinion, if you're on chill, okay, yeah, maybe go a little bit below the speed limit, or maybe go the speed limit on the dot. Average, maybe at least go the speed limit, don't go below it, and maybe a couple miles an hour over, 3 or 4. And then hurry should hurry, right? So, whatever that means to you, to me it means 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, if not more, depending on the situation that you're in. So there was a little bit of jerky braking through that turn back there. I don't necessarily want to call that a phantom brake. I think it was the car slowing down for the turn. It just, didn't do it very smoothly. And we're going to be turning left right now. It looks like in both directions we are pretty clear. It does kind of look like it could rain. It would be interesting to do this drive in the rain and see if that has any effect on anything. I mean, I would expect it to get worse, but sometimes, like I remember in version 11, FSD was like way better at night for me than it was during the day. And I think some of that was there was less cars on the road, but it was noticeably better on some routes during the nighttime, which I found to be pretty interesting. You would think it would be the polar opposite of that. So far we're carrying good speed through here. Speed limit's 35. We're doing like 1 mile an hour under, but we're kind of going through some curves, and so, I don't have a problem with it. It feels pretty good. Now, I do think we're going to slow down a lot for this turn here, a lot more than what we need to. So we're down to 30. We'll see what it carries through this turn. Now, the other night when I was filming, the Hardware 4 car had an awful phantom brake coming out of this turn. Like, we almost came to a complete stop, and I had to intervene because there were some people behind us. We'll see what this one does. It was right around where this telephone pole is. So we seem to have made it through that okay. And we're back to carrying pretty decent speed. We're doing 1 mile an hour under. I'd be doing a little bit quicker, but I don't have a problem with it. I'm okay with it right now. A little bit of a tap on the brakes for that car there. That's fine. I was just seeing what they were doing. Yeah, we're going a little bit slow now. Like, this is wide road, 35 mile an hour speed limit. There's just no reason for us to be doing under the speed limit. Now, it's speeding up now that I've said something, but, like, I'm good with the speed it's going now. If it would just carry this, that would be great. Okay, we're starting to speed up quite a bit now. Still feel like this is an appropriate speed to go through here. So up here in just a second, we're going to be making a right onto Cook Road. One of the things I'll look out for here is the speed limit will go from 45 to 55. And what I've noticed in both cars so far is that anytime you're on a single stretch of road and there's no like stop signs or stop lights or cars in front of you stopping or anything, you're just going one continuous line. The car seems to totally disregard any changes in speed limit. It's like whatever speed it initially decided to go is what it's going to go. So if I had to bet, when we pull out of here, we'll get up to about 45 miles an hour. I'll point out where the speed limit sign is for the 55 mile an hour change, but I bet you the car doesn't do anything different. It's gonna, if I had to guess, it's gonna go 47 miles an hour. That's my guess. So here's the stop sign. We're gonna be turning right. Got one truck coming to the left. After the truck passes, we can go. There was some more cars coming, and I might have waited for them. I mean, there was plenty of room. I think the only reason I'm saying I would have waited for them is because I think the car is going to go slower than they're going. So here's a 45 mile an hour speed limit sign and 47 miles an hour. Now this truck in front of us is probably going to screw the whole thing up. If he goes 47 through here, then of course the car is not going to go faster than him. But here's the 55 mile an hour sign. But yeah, so not really going to get a good test there. Thanks, truck. Appreciate that. That makes me feel better about pulling out in front of the other people that are behind us, though. So I'm going to have my foot over the pedal again, just in case it decides to brake check them. So the truck has sped up a little bit. We're kind of lingering behind at like 47, 48. Now, they're not going a whole lot faster, but it would be preferable for the car to keep up with traffic. Now, I also, in the other car, had really bad phantom braking through here the other night. Right at where this intersection thing is. Went right through there with no problem. Got some people slowing down in front of us. Did a nice job slowing down. Now, one thing throughout the whole drive, excluding the phantom braking, that I said earlier on was better. The deceleration is just noticeably better. It is very different than Hardware 4. So up here at this intersection, we're going to be making a left. See if we get any traffic to interact with. I see a bicyclist. We might have to go around them here in a minute. Got a couple people on bikes. Got some traffic from the left and from the right. Looks like the truck is going to wait. Oh no, he's deciding to turn right. So we need to wait for one car on the left and... Whoa, what are you doing, car? Oh, nope. That's a disengagement. It was going to go. I mean, without a doubt, it was about to just... I mean, that... How much clearer could it have been that that was not the right time to go? Now, there was a car behind me who was trying to, like, sneak over to the right of us to turn right. And maybe it was trying to get out of their way, but even if that's what it was doing, that was a bad, bad move. Alright, let's see how it gets around these bikes. Oh, this is so awkward. Okay. Alright, I'm taking over and going around them. It's perfectly clear to go around them. Like, why is it getting over closer to the bikes? Now, you may be thinking that that was a totally unnecessary disengagement, and you might be right, but at this point, I was pretty frustrated, and the car was definitely headed towards the biker, so I just wanted to go ahead and get around both of them and continue the drive. Now, yes, I understand that it probably would have made it around them okay at some point, but if I'm the first biker, I'm a little bit uncomfortable that this car is just riding right behind me and not giving me a whole lot of room. And I've noticed that on every drive I've made on 12.5.4, all the different point releases of it, it doesn't give pedestrians, or as Tesla likes to call them, vulnerable road users, it does not give them enough room. Alright, we got a weird move happening here. I guess the car is going to stop and let them do their thing. Okay, that was slightly impressive. Now, they were waiting for us. We could have easily gone, but it was pretty cool that it had some anticipation of what they were getting ready to do. So at the bottom of this hill, I'm looking to see, does it stop when it doesn't need to? We don't have a stop sign. The people to the right do. It's one way from the left, so we ain't got to worry about that. It should just turn left and go. And we are going to creep through here. This is so awkward because there's somebody to our right waiting for us. I mean, this is horrible. Look at the steering wheel. Look at how slow we're going. We should have never even slowed down through there. We should have just flowed right through. Alright, so we're pretty much at the end of the drive. So I'll go ahead and give my overall thoughts. It was horrible. That was not a nice drive at all. Disengagements, interventions, horrible phantom braking, jerkiness. Hardware 4 is hands down better. It would have made this drive much better than that. Maybe not flawlessly, but that was really bad. Out of the three times I've tried this drive now, hopefully this one actually makes it through to the end. This drive was the worst. The second attempt yesterday was the second worst, and really the first attempt in this car was the best, but my camera didn't record any audio. So, yeah, not good at all. A lot of phantom braking. Oh my god, it just slammed on the brakes again. Like that. I know that there were some people around and that it was probably because of them, but that was really bad. I mean, it hit the brakes as hard as it possibly could. So once again, if you are looking to buy a Tesla for FSD, and if there's any way possible you can get a Hardware 4 car, get Hardware 4. I don't know how to prove it to you any more than this video and some of the clips I'm going to put in from the other drives. not good at all. Now, the road is blocked up here where our last pin is, so I'm interested to see what it does. I have a feeling it's going to try to go past the road closed sign. Alright, I'm taking over here. So anyway, like I said, not a good drive at all. Hopefully this sells you on Hardware 4 if you are stuck between the two of them, and I have no incentive to sell you on Hardware 4. I just want to make sure if you get a car for FSD, you get one that you're going to be happy with. And while I have had a lot of impressive drives in this one, this was not one of them, and there was no reason for this one to be the way that it was. It wasn't like there was crazy traffic. It wasn't like it was really bad weather conditions. It's not like it was at night. It's not like there was any reason for the car to be slamming the brakes when it was. It just wasn't good. So anyway, if you've watched the whole video, I really appreciate you. If you could give the video a like and subscribe, that would be absolutely awesome. I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and liking the videos and subscribing. It means the world to me. But until the next video, see you later.